Dosdall for Scrapbook and Cards today, and today I want to show you all about the Fringe and Scoreboard from We Are Memory Keepers. This is seriously a game-changing tool, you guys. Once you see what it can do, you'll realize how much time this is going to save you. It's great for party decor, like cutting and scoring multiple lines at one time. So if you want to make rosettes or fringe tassels, or just cut strips, multiple strips, it's just going to save you so much time. So let me show you, we've got two blades, the score blade and the fringe blade, and they both can cut either 1 inch or 1/2 inch lines, or score, I guess, if you're using the score blade. You just flip that switch to change sizes. And there's a nice storage compartment right here for the one you're not using. There's also these handy guides that allow you to stop and start your cutting or scoring at a different, a certain measurement on your paper, depending on what project you're making. So this is great, like I said, for party decor, for scoring and cutting multiple lines, but it's also great for card making and scrapbooking. And I'm going to show you how to use it in one cool way. So we're going to do some paper weaving on a card background. So I've pre-cut my paper to 5.5 by 4 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a base for the weaving to happen. So I want to leave a 1/2 inch here and then cut straight lines through the rest of my paper. So I've put my guide here at 5 inches because that's where I want my cutting to start. So now I'm going to place my paper into the board and line it up at the 1/2 inch line, since I'm going to cut 1/2 inch cuts. If you want to do 1 inch, you'd line it up here. So we place this arm down and hold it down really firmly with your thumb. And then we're going to pull this back to the guide, and we're going to push down to pierce the paper and then push away. And that's going to cut 5 perfectly straight lines, exactly 1/2 inch apart. Oh, I was so thrilled when I saw this. How much time is that going to save you for cutting? I mean, it's just amazing. So we'll slide it over to the last cut mark at the 1/2 inch guideline. Push this down again. Pull this back, pierce, and cut. Okay? I mean, how amazing is that? Okay, so now we need to cut some strips that we can weave through these lines here. So again, I'm going to line this up at a 1/2 inch. Push down my arm. This time I'm going to remove the guide. Pull this all the way down and make sure that's nice and secure. Let me make sure it's straight. Yep, okay. All right, and then we're going to just push down and start slicing away from ourselves again. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of 1/2 inch strips. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a minute, and I'm not going to do it on camera, but I'm going to take a minute to cut these down to 4 inches so that there are 4 inch strips. Okay, going across. There we go. Here are our 4 inch strips. And they're 1/2 inch by 4 inch, but when you add them all together, that's 5 inches tall worth of strips. I hope that makes sense to fit into this base. Okay, so we are now done with this tool. We're going to set this aside. And I'm just going to start weaving, and we're just going to do under over, just like you learned in elementary school. And then we'll just slide this up to the top. Make sure it's nice and tight in there, all the way up to the top of the cut. And it's just going to sit perfectly right there. Okay, next, same thing, but we're going to start this time the opposite way we did last time. So we're going to go that way first. So we get a checkered pattern. And if you're a quilter, you can kind of go crazy with this. Or if you love patterns, you can mix up different patterns of under and over. You can do 2 and then 1 and then 2 and then 1. I mean, you can do all kinds of awesome quilt patterns with this. So go crazy with your weaving and make some fun shapes. I've seen people do hearts this way with paper weaving. I've seen all kinds of fun things. So have a lot of fun with it. This time I'm just going to do a basic checker pattern. Finished the paper weaving. That's kind of a fun background, isn't it? And so what I'm going to do now is cut off this top strip now that I've woven it all together. So I'm just going to slide this in here and line it up carefully and chop. Then I'm going to use some glue or some kind of adhesive and just stick all of these down so that the strips stay together. And so I'm not going to take the time here to do all of these because that would take a while, but you get the idea. You're going to go around to all of the ends and you're going to put some glue there so they stay together, and make sure it's nice and tightly woven before doing that so that it's nice and straight and everything looks good. And I'm going to show you real quick down here how to handle these ends so that you don't have extra ends cut off. Now, of course, you're going to want to adhere these as well when you do yours, but let me just show you how to trim off. We're just going to use some scissors on this one since it's a little tight there. And just cut those off. Now you've got a beautiful woven background for a card. And these are 1/2-inch strips, but if you were to do the 1-inch strips, you could do it on a large scale for a 12 by 12 scrapbook page, and that would look really beautiful. So thanks for joining me. I'm Aly Dosdall for Scrapbook and Cards Today, and this is the Fringe and Scoreboard from We Are Memory Keepers.